Hi friends, this is Dawn from Chicken Run Creations, and this is not the video that I had planned on making. However, I made this little raccoon guy here for a donation to our local art center who's doing a 6x6 show. Basically, you submit any kind of media picture as long as it's 6 inches by 6 inches. And I shared this on my Facebook page, and I had a number of requests for a pattern. And so I was working up a pattern, and I thought, you know what, maybe I'll do a video making it as well. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, so this will probably be more of a sped up kind of a video. However, I will have a link down below where you can get a copy of my pattern and you can make one yourself. I'll show you what I've used, how I came up with this pattern, and I just kind of went with colors and stuff like that. So let me show you where this comes from. I was playing around with some AI stuff, and I ended up with this cute little raccoon here. And I thought, you know what, let me see if I can turn this into a needle felted picture. And so this one is a little bit smaller because when I printed my initial page, I forgot to click print as actual size, and it ended up printing smaller than it was supposed to. I was not happy when I actually went to measure all this out and get it ready to go that I printed it too small. So what I have done for this round is I have made a pattern that will fit a 5-inch hoop, embroidery hoop. So you can see that fits on there just nicely. And if you want it bigger or smaller, you'll have to figure that out on your printer, but this is what I'm going with. So this was my inspiration, what I went with. You are going to need, obviously, an embroidery hoop or some way to frame it. If you don't want to make a round one, you can do it as square, but the pattern is for a round. In the patterns, in the downloads, you will get 2 of these. I just kind of traced around the original. You'll get one, this is in reverse, and you'll also get one in the same format as the way it comes. And I did it that way, so if you wanted to use one of these iron-on transfer pens, all you have to do is trace around the pattern. So that's what I have done on here. I traced the pattern. So then when you put it on your material, all you have to do is flip it over, iron it, and you're good to go. I also used a couple pieces of heat tape. I'll put a link to that down below. This is really nice. So I could tape it on my thing so it didn't move around while I was ironing it. And then you're going to need whatever material you want to do it on. I'm doing a piece of linen this time, so if you've never used the iron-on pens, this is actually the first time I've used it. You trace around with your pen, and then you iron your fabric, place your pattern on your fabric, and then what I did was I just kind of held my iron down for like count to 5, and then moved it, count to 5, move it, count to 5, and then I kind of lifted it up to see if it was all transferred, and I had a couple spots that were a little light, so I did a little bit longer. This is reusable too, so I did 2 to start with. The first one moved on me before I put the tape on, and then the second one I did, but then when I put it in my hoop, it was not quite big enough the way I wanted it, so I had to go back to my computer and enlarge it a little bit. But anyway, so you can see it fits right on there. I'll show you it in the hoop here. Try and get it on here. So this will just pop on over it like so. It's not quite centered, but you get the idea of it. Move it down here a little bit so you can see it better. Okay, so that is the basic idea behind this little raccoon that I did. So I'm going to pull out my wools that I used, and I'm going to get started. I probably won't talk a whole lot through this because it's just basically coloring with wool. Pretty much is all it is coloring with wool. I didn't go, if you look at my initial one here, it's got all the fur, which you could totally do if you wanted to. I was going simple and easy and didn't want to go to laying out the bits. I did forget to put the whiskers in my other one, but I didn't want to go back in and have to change it, so I'm just submitting it as it is. But this one I'll try and remember to give him some whiskers. So anyway, so that is where we are at. I am going to go and find myself some wool here. I find that it's easier to not do this in the embroidery hoop, and I have my big mat out this time, just because I like to use this for doing my 2D things, and it's a mess, but that's the way it is. I don't like to put the felt on there because this is going to be sticking into this as I do it, and it'll stick into the felt and just make it harder. So I just do it straight on here when I'm doing 2Ds, and this is just a homemade wool mat that I made early on when I first started felting. So it's a nice size for doing 2D pictures. So let me go grab some felt and, some wool, and we will get started on making this little guy. I'm not sure how long he'll take. The other one took me, I don't know, maybe 5 hours, something like that, I think. I didn't really time it, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to start with the black and work out from there. So I'll get right back to you with my wool colors and we'll go from there. Okay, I got all the wools here. I'll just kind of show you what I'm using. It might change as I get going. This is kind of what I used last time. There might be a few things that are a little bit different, but obviously you need your white and black. So I'm using just a black for the eyes, and then for the rest of the black on him, I'm using this Corriedale Thunder from Cupid Falls Farms. I didn't want like a black. I mean, it's got a little bit of gray kind of thrown in there. I don't know how well you can see that with the glare, but I kind of like that a little bit better. So I'm using that. And then for the gray on him, I'm using this Tornado, also from Cupid Falls Farms. Sorry about the glare. And then he's got a little bit of brown in him, so I think I was using this rabbit color. But I have a couple other like random browns here that I use throughout it, like for the wreath that goes around it, and for some of the flowers. I was using this color, which I think is from Cupid Falls Farms, but I don't have the bag for it anymore. And then I just pulled out a couple other random colors, like I think I used this in the darker center of the flowers here. And then just to kind of add a little bit of brown to him. So the red berries, I don't know if they're berries or flowers. I guess they're I don't know. It's AI, so who knows what it is. I have this really pretty red. It's kind of a variegated. It's got a little bit of orange in it. I don't know where I got it from. I think it was like a local person that I ordered from. The blueberries, I have this really pretty blue here, and then I was using this variegated to kind of highlight the top of the blueberries. And then I have some greens. I used a different color green here, but I think I might try this green or maybe mix it with this and see. I think I use this for a lot of them, but I didn't really like that green too much, but it's in there and I'm not changing it. So I kind of, if you look at the picture, there's not a lot, but there's somewhere it's a little bit lighter. So anyway, so that's the basic colors that I'm using. And I guess for needles, I pretty much only used a small needle. What did I use? I think I used a 42 or 40. I'm not sure which this is. I just find to be working in fabric, just a fine needle is pretty much all you need. You don't need to have a really big needle, so that's all I used is a fine needle. So I think that's pretty much it. I am going to start with the eyes. I like to do the eyes first and the nose, and I'll do the black around here, and then there's a really, if you can see, a really faint brown ring around his eyes. I might do that before I fill the black in, but I'll probably have to go back and go over it a little bit. Just so you can see where his eyes are, otherwise it would get lost in there. So that's where I like to start, is with the eyes and the nose, and then I will go from there. So we'll get started on this little guy. If something comes up that I want to share with you, I will pop in and do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to go for it. I'm probably going to speed it up just to save on time. And we'll see where we get. Okay, so I'm going to take a break here. So basically all I have done is just kind of done like a coloring book style, where I'm just basically filling in some spots here and there that I need to touch up. But I'm going to build on this a little bit more. Right now it's, like you can still see some of the outlines, which I need to get rid of. I used, for the other one, I used a water-soluble interfacing that I traced my design onto. And then when it was done, I just put it in some water and it all dissolved away. I did have some bleeding issues. However, I ended up taking a couple sheets of color grabber and put it in some cold water with a couple sheets of color grabber, and the running that I had down here disappeared, which was nice. So I thought I would try it with the marker this time. So I just have to, so because, see how this is on a black background? Because I don't have that, I kind of have to make allowances. So that's why I kind of brought the black down here and this one, because in essence, if he's behind it here, his body would be back here. So I pulled the black down a little bit further in this one. Plus the flowers in the other one just kind of, it was smaller, so it kind of filled all this in here. But I'm going to kind of build this up some more and kind of get the spots that are a little bear filled in and just kind of work this up a little bit. Another thing you could do is you could actually like build the muzzle up so it actually looks like there's a muzzle, which would be kind of cool. I don't think I'm going to do that on this one, but it'd be kind of cool to actually like build up his arm here and kind of have it come off the background a little bit. So that'd be kind of cool if any of you want to try that. I'd love to see how that comes out. I just don't want to take the time to do that right now. So anyway, I'm just going to take a little break here and then I will come back and we'll work on doing some more filling in. So what I'm doing here is just taking little bits of brown and just kind of going over the gray, just really lightly. And I don't know if you can see, but adding that second layer of wool helps. Kind of like painting, you know, one coat doesn't always quite cover it, so adding a second layer on helps to coat it a bit more. Okay, you see that? All right, so we're going to start to do the flowers and stuff around the outside now. I'm going to start by doing the oh, I guess you would call it a like a grapevine wreath kind of a thing here. And if I want to use that wool, what else do I got here? I'll do this. I didn't use this last time. This is a great way to use up those bags from Amazon if you had. So let's see here. It's kind of a greeny color, which actually I think works good with the picture. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of thin this out a little bit and kind of put it along where I got these lines showing here. I don't really care if it goes into where the flowers are. That's okay, because the flowers will probably go over it. So I'm just doing a really thin line. Kind of make it look like a grapevine or something like that. And you can do like different colors in here. So I can do some in this, and then I might take another brown. I want to keep it fairly thin here. Getting it too thin. Just kind of roll it a little bit. That'll help. So just kind of think where the wreath might be going. This is where you'll need to look at the picture. Okay, I have a base here, so I can continue to add as I'm putting the flowers and stuff like that in. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start working with these little red berry things or flowers. And so what I did on my last one was I just made a bunch of little balls. So instead of spending the time, I'll just kind of show you. So all I did was just take a little bit of wool and roll it into a ball. And then just kind of stuck it in where it needed to go. You see that? Like that. Doesn't need to be perfect, but basically what I did was I just kind of sat and rolled a whole bunch of balls and then kind of filled them in where they needed to go. So what I will do is, just so you don't have to watch all of that, I will make myself a bunch of little balls here, and maybe I'll show you some of them that I put in, but probably the most of them I'll do off camera just because it's kind of a repetitive thing and you'll probably get bored seeing it. I am trying to make sure that I cover up these lines from the pattern. So I want to make sure that when I'm putting them on there, I'm putting them over the lines just so they get covered up good. So, see that? Let's see if I can zoom in for you. This way. So that's all I'm doing. So I'm gonna kind of do that off camera, I think, because like I said, it's gonna be kind of repetitious, and I'll probably go around and like do all the red, and then I'll come back and show you the next part of that. So let me get that done and I will be back. Okay, I got the little red berries, flowers, whatever they are, done. So now I'm going to do the blueberries, and I think when I made them last time I made them a little too big, so I'm going to try and go a little smaller. So I just have this piece of blue wool roving here. You only need a tiny bit, so I'm just going to roll it with my thumb and finger. I'm just kind of looking at my pattern here to see where I'm going with it. Okay, so I have one right there. So I think, trying to think if that's gonna be big enough once it felts down a little bit. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. And I'm trying not to felt this down. See, these are kind of flattened. I don't know if you can tell or not. They're kind of flattened. I don't want the blueberries to get totally flattened. I'd like them to still remain some of their round shape. So I'm just gonna very gently kind of work it around. Enough to attach it, but not to make it go totally flat. You can maybe felt them a little bit before you attach them. If you can see that, let me see if I can zoom you in a little bit here. Okay. Kind of blends in with the black a little bit. So now that I have that attached, I'm going to, where'd my light blue go? I'm just going to take a little bit of this light blue that I have, just a tiny bit, and I'm going to attach it to the top to kind of give it a little bit of a light source, I guess. And I'm just doing it just enough to kind of attach it here. Okay, like that. Can you see that? Then I'm going to take a little bit of black, tiny bit of black. And I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do the black to all of them. But this is basically like if you're looking at the bottom of the blueberry. And I'm just going to poke that in like that. And let me see here. You can see that. Let me move this up a little bit. Oops, sorry. So if you can see that right there. So it kind of looks like a, hopefully it looks like a blueberry. So there's a whole bunch of them to do. Look at the picture. There's a whole bunch of them around. So I'm going to go and do the same thing and fill in all the blueberries. And then I will come back to you with, we'll tackle the flowers next. Okay, blueberries are done. Now we are going to work on the flowers. And so basically all I'm going to do is I have this light tan here, and I'm just going to kind of go around and make little round blobs and then fill in with a little bit of dark. So just take a piece here, and I do like to kind of roll out my hands a little, my fingers a little bit, and I'm just kind of looking at my pattern here to see where to start. So I have one here. So let's see. So I'm just gonna kind of felt a circle down like that. And then I'm going to take, I think this was the color that I was using, just a little bit of this darker brown color, kind of roll it in my fingers and just stab it in the middle. Like so. Easy peasy. I won't do like all the flowers. Just kind of a a hint of them, I guess you would say. So I'm not, you know, looking to get them all done. It's a little bit easier to kind of do a bunch of them and then go back around and do your centers. So I'm going to go around and do those and then come back to you once I have those done, and I'll show you how we're going to do, well, there's some, so like there's some, I don't know how well you can see, but there's like these random little things here. I didn't include those in my other one. You know, you can include them if you want. They kind of have like a little reddish stem here, but I just kind of look and see how it fills out, and if I feel like I need to add more, I can add a little bit more, but I pretty much left those out when I did my first one, and just maybe added some more leaves if I felt the need, or more flowers or something like that. So, but you know, you can get as detailed as you want. You could even, like, some of these would be nice embroidered, so like if you want to embroider some leaves and stuff like that on, that would be kind of cool too. But I'm gonna just stick with all felt. So let me get these flowers done, and then I will come back to do the leaves. All right, let's do the leaves next once I have the flowers done. So I'm gonna start over here. There's a nice little leaf in the stem here, and I'm starting with this, just this leaf color. I'll probably like kind of switch out and do some darker greens and lighter greens, but I'm going to do the stem here first. So I'm just kind of pulling out a really thin piece of wool here. I'm going to follow this line just to make my stem. Like so. Turn that off. I'm probably going to have to, like, once I get done with this, go back through and make sure all my little lines and stuff like that are covered. We'll look at that once we get the leaves done. So now I'm just going to make some really simple leaves. I'm just going to take some, well, I'm not really looking for really true shape leaves. I'm just kind of filling it in. Cover up the lines, because I don't think it really matters if they're, I mean, if you really want to make it look like a leaf, then by all means go ahead and do that. But for time's sake, usually my perfectionist qualities kind of come out here, but when you're trying to get things done quickly, efficiently, and it really doesn't matter, because unless you have somebody who's like gonna really critique it, I think just the essence of leaves works. So can you see that? See if I can bring you in a little closer. So I'm just going to go around and look at my picture, and wherever I see some leaves, I'm just going to pop some in. I might switch out the colors a little bit. I may add some leaves here and there if I see like a dead spot that could use a little bit more. Throw in a leaf, or throw in a few more flowers or something like that. And then you could also, like, if you wanted to highlight the leaves or give them some shadow, some depth, you can totally do that as well. and get to these really small ones, I'm just going to kind of rub it in between my fingers there. Just make it really thin. Okay, so there you go. Nice and simple. So I will continue around and add some leaves all the way around, and then come back for some finishing touches. We still have to do his mouth. It might kind of enhance him a little bit more, but I'll get the leaves all on here and any remaining stems and stuff like that, and then I'll come back and we'll finish him up. I think we're about done. I am pretty happy with how it all filled out. I don't think I have any more little spots showing from the iron on, so the last thing I'm gonna do, well, not quite the last thing, because I still want to add whiskers to him. So first thing I want to do is give him a little mouth here. So I just have some black, really thin piece of black here. Might be too thin, let's see. And I'm just gonna kind of just give him just a little smile here. Just enough to see it. And I'm gonna kind of poke it up here in the middle. And then get a tiny bit to go down from the nose to the mouth. Okay, now let's see, do I want to do whiskers with wool or string? I think I might try string. Hold on one second. Okay, so I have this bead thread. I have no idea how long ago I bought it, but I think you can probably still find something similar to it, and I think this will work. So what I'm going to do, actually, before I do that, I just want to kind of touch up this brown here on his nose. It's just kind of bugging me here a little bit, so I want to add a little bit more. Okay, so I have taken a needle and I threaded that on there. So what I'm going to do, make sure you can see here, is I'm just going to kind of see. I'll throw a knot in the bottom of this just to be safe, maybe. Alright, let me bring you out just a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to pull it through. Just be careful you don't pull it all the way through, and bring it down to somewhere around his nose. Like that. Let's see how it'll take a look. And if I want to attach them like that or not. Let me try. Try going this way. So I'm not sure if I want to actually attach it. Or kind of sure if I can kind of felt it down or not. Yep. Don't think that'll work. Maybe this will work. Just gonna do a few stitches. Hopefully you can see this. And let's do over here. Make sure you don't pull it too tightly because you don't want it to distort your fabric. Okay. That's not too bad. I think I probably should bring these ones out a little bit more, so I'm just gonna pull them out. And just make them a little bit longer. Looks like The picture has like 6 little whiskers on each side, but you could do however many you want. Let's just bring them out. Let's see. A little bit farther here. I think I'll this one farther. Sorry, my OCD. Nice thing about this sword is it pulls out very nicely. If you get a long enough strand that you can do all of them. Alright. 3 times a charm, right? Let's see. Alright. I'm just gonna flip it over here and just kind of pull it under some wool a few times. So you can see the back side of this, what it looks like. Yeah, let's see if I can kind of knot it off. If I were doing like a 3D sculpture, I would just kind of hide it in the wool a little bit, but since that's not what we're doing, I'm going to knot it off just a couple times. This is all going to get covered up when I put it in the frame. So there we go. There. Not too bad. What do you think? I think that sets it off. I should have put whiskers on my other one, and I totally forgot. So now let's get my frame here. Let's see how it looks. See if I can get it centered. I need to come down a little bit. A little bit more. Alright, I'm going to tighten this a little bit. Sorry, you can't see. Let's see, bring it up here a little bit. Go. Now the tricky thing about these is, because we got the wool here, you want to make it tight. Maybe let me get my pliers out here. Fingers don't work as well as they used to. Okay, what do you think? So what I will do now is I will just go around and trim this off. I don't have my fabric scissors here handy, so I will trim that off. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a piece of felt that's the same size as this, and then glue it on. That way it'll cover up the rough edge of the fabric there and make it look a little bit nicer. So probably tighten this a little bit more. But yeah, so let me know what you think. I will pop a link down below where you can go to my website and get yourself a copy of the patterns and the pictures. And I would absolutely love to see what you come up with. You can pop over to my Facebook page and post a picture of it there, or one of my needle felting groups, and let me know how you like it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. I have no idea what we're going to tackle next. If you have a suggestion, drop it down below and let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.